Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Today I have with me Leyla Pirnie. Leyla, thank you so much for being on my show.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Now, before we get started here, I do want to say, send a big shout out to Brendan and Toby and all of the great guys at Cape Gun Works in Hyannis, Massachusetts. They have all sorts of classes. They have USCCA classes. They have some advanced classes, some combat-focused shooting classes like the Rob Pincus classes. They have courses to get your mass license to carry. And they have, I'm teaching a Utah class there in a bit. So they have all sorts of cool things at Cape Gun Works. And I also wanted to say that you can find this show and lots of others on the Self-Defense Radio Network, which is sdrn.us. That is where you find all of your pro-gun podcasts in one place. There we go. The business is over. All right, let's have some fun. So we're here with Leyla Pirnie, and we are in Hyannis, Massachusetts. You're not from here? You're not from these parts, so
No, not at all.
don't be put off by the crazy driving that we have.
Oh gosh, it's worse in Boston though, so it's fine.
Right? Right, it is. So you've been in the news for a month? A month-ish, because something happened to you. Let's get into that.
Alrighty.
Tell us about yourself. You came up here to Boston to go to college because we have a lot of really nice, fancy colleges up here with lots of great reputations. And before you came up here, were you a gun girl? Did you own? Did you shoot?
I did. I've always grown up around guns, so
Right, we're gonna bang a Yui. Woo! Hang on,
gosh.
baby.
Yeah, I grew up with guns, and my parents definitely taught me the value of protecting yourself, but it wasn't something that I really took seriously until my life was kind of put in a little bit of danger. So at that point, I started to really take it seriously.
Yeah?
Really train myself.
Are you interested in sharing what it was? What happened?
Oh,
It's up to you.
I'd rather pass on
No,
that.
they're not. Okay, something. I mean, there's a lot of people that have had something happen to them where they said, "Holy moly, I need to learn to protect myself,"
Right.
and that's the light bulb that goes off for a lot of people that turns them into going from a non-gun person to being a gun owner.
Definitely.
So very cool. Where did you come from? Where did you come from? You're not from these parts.
No, I was born and raised in Turkey. Grew up in Izmir.
Really?
Really.
All right, so I'm going to sound like a crazy stalker. I looked for you on the Facebook. I'm an old guy, so I say the Facebook. And I saw a Leyla Pirnie from Istanbul, Turkey. I'm like, this can't be her. This is not her. This is some fake nonsense. And, okay.
Yeah, my
that is not from these parts.
no, not at all. But yeah, my father did business there. My parents decided to stay about 11, 12 years. So we stayed there and then moved to Colorado for a bit and then down to Alabama.
Down to Alabama.
Yeah.
Cool. And so that's how you got up here. That's your background. Let's talk about what happened to you. So the Reader's Digest quick version, which we're not going to talk about, is your roommates saw that you had a Make America Great Again hat, and they're completely, I'm going to say this, you don't have to, they're completely bigoted roommates that you have. You have a Make America Great Again hat, and you're from Alabama, so they assumed you're a gun owner, so they decided to look through your room and go through all your private belongings to see if you had a gun.
Right. Yeah, I just want to clarify that I was never wearing a MAGA hat, around Boston or on campus. That
than assuming and judging and all of that stuff that people say is bad.
Right.
So that's completely ridiculous. That is the tolerance from the non-tolerant. So they found out, they went through your stuff, they went through your room, they went through all your belongings. You, coming from Alabama, you do have a gun, and you went through the process to get your Mass license. Since you're living up here in Massachusetts, you have to have your license to carry. And then you got your guns up here, and you had this legally.
Yes.
I hate calling it a legal gun, but you had the gun legally, and you had it locked and secured,
Yes.
so that unauthorized people don't have access to it.
Right. So my roommates saw, I guess when they were looking under my bed, they saw that I had boxes of ammo. I kept some in a beach bag. I thought I was being,
It's in Massachusetts. You don't have to lock ammunition up. You just need to store it separate from where the guns are.
Right. So.
Right. So you're still not breaking the law.
Yeah. So they saw that. Then I guess they went through my closet and saw my big case with a lock. So.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they went through all of my drawers. Pulled stuff out from under my bed, my nightstand.
Holy moly. That's a huge invasion of privacy.
Completely.
Do they break into the gun safe? Or the gun case? They didn't.
But they did kind of play with it a little bit because
So they tried.
Right. Because I could tell that things were really shifted in all my drawers and in my closet.
Sure.
And the ammo bag definitely wasn't left, or it wasn't how I left it.
Right.
So, yeah, definitely.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's nuts. So then what happens?
So, we have a roommate meeting, and they tell me that they respect my right to own firearms, but they're uncomfortable with it. So they give me a list of demands that I need to follow in order to stay in the house. And some of those included removing the firing pins from my guns. Yeah, I think that was a quick Google search.
Right.
And then keeping the ammo locked and stored separately from the guns, keeping the guns locked and stored in the basement. Just a whole slew of nonsense, honestly.
It's, that's completely ridiculousness.
Right. So I told them, look, this is absurd. I can see that y'all don't really understand how guns work, and that's completely fine. If you don't grow up around it, then sure. So I said, I will pay for everybody to come to a gun range with me. We'll grab pizza after, just so everybody can kind of familiarize themselves, and it's not such a scary thing. It's quite empowering, actually. And they weren't too keen on that. So we kind of ended that conversation, and that's when they went to my landlord.
Wow. So here they are, they're putting demands on you to make them feel comfortable.
Right.
Which is ridiculous. And then they go tell the landlord.
Right.
So then what happened?
So then my landlord sends me an email saying, since you want to, he actually called the captain of the police department, and I spoke with the captain as well. And the captain offered to come over and check out my guns, and he was like, just so that we can let everybody know that it's safe, it's legally stored, they have nothing to worry about.
Wow.
And so I said, sure, why not? I'm not hiding anything, so come on over. So he does, he checks everything out, and he said, everything looks great. So then my landlord responds and says, all right, the captain checked everything out. He said everything is safe and legal. But it seems that since Leila wants to keep her guns and everybody else is uncomfortable, she needs to move out. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's breaking the lease?
Right. Yeah, so there was nothing in the lease about
not having
guns and stuff. But the big issue that I saw with it was, I responded and said, the only reason that these girls even know that I have anything is because they breached my privacy completely.
Yes.
And I can't help that they've made themselves feel uncomfortable.
Right. It's not on you that they're uncomfortable about you keeping personal belongings locked and secured, so they're not having access to it.
Right. And I try to explain to them that I have my reasons, and I explain that it's not, I don't just keep guns for the heck of it.
Right.
I really adamantly believe that I need to protect myself, and they just couldn't understand the logic behind that, I guess. So.
Wow. Yeah. That's completely ridiculous. I don't know if I would want to have the chief of police come to my house and make sure everything is okay, but I guess it's the landlord's house, and if he wanted to do that, then that's what
sure.
he do, right?
Well, and the captain was really kind, and he said, this is completely up to you.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to do this. It's just so that you can assure everybody that, you're
right.
well within your legal rights.
Trying to make everyone feel comfortable.
So I went ahead and did that just so that, my landlord knew that nothing's wrong, and
mm-hmm.
my roommates could see that they aren't in any danger, and
right.
Yeah.
Everything's on the up and up, and it's all legit. You're not doing anything wrong
right.
or anything illegal.
Mm-hmm.
That is a huge invasion of privacy.
Completely.
Huge invasion of privacy. So, where are things at?
So, right now, speaking with an attorney, and we're exploring our options, and we'll see where it ends up. But things have been a little bit stagnant, so
Mm-hmm.
we'll just have to see. But
Gotcha. When did all of this happen? Because I know I saw this. Boy, I saw it on my social media stuff. The week before Christmas.
yeah, this was in late October.
October. Okay.
But it was really a slow progression, because at first my roommates were saying that they were fine with the guns in the house, and then they would flip-flop and say, no, absolutely not, we can't have this in the house. So, yeah, and my landlord didn't say anything, I think, until like the second week of November or so.
Wow. So it's like a little slow boil for things to happen. That's absolutely insane. Well, I'm interested to find out how it's going to happen. I actually, the city you're living in, I actually used to teach in that city a long time ago in a previous life. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I used to, I've been a band teacher for a long time, and I used to teach in Somerville at a number of the schools in high school.
Very cool.
Yes, yeah, I spent a lot of time in Somerville. Right
It's a cute little town. I like it.
It is. It's very cool. Very cool. And it was a long time ago when I lived there. I didn't live there, but I worked there and spent a bunch of time. I spent a bunch of time when I was a youth, hanging out at Harvard Square and doing that whole deal.
Yeah.
And Central Square is not really a great place in Cambridge.
Oh, really?
It's not. You don't go there,
you mean
do you?
for this kind of thing?
Central Square? No, yeah, for this sort of thing. But there's a lot of riffraff in that section of Cambridge on Mass Ave and stuff. So yeah, that's a little crazy. A little crazy. I learned how to drive stick shift, driving up and down Mass Ave from Davis Square to Harvard Square.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's not, it's a lot of inner city stuff. It's right next to Boston, right next to Cambridge.
Right, and it's not even, no matter where I go, whether it's high crime or low crime, I just like to have that assurance with me.
Sure.
Just because you never know. Crime can happen anywhere. It doesn't need to be the Middle East or Chicago or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. It can happen absolutely anywhere. The way that your roommates wanted you to keep everything so they were comfortable with it left you completely disarmed, because your ammo's in one room and your gun's somewhere else.
No firing pins.
And your firing pin's taken out.
Which, that whole thing didn't make sense to me, because I told them, I don't think y'all know what firing pins are. Because if I don't have firing pins in the guns,
it's a paperweight.
Then I don't need to have
ammunition. It shouldn't be locked up. It's
right.
I teach courses, and I say, listen, if when the gun's unloaded, it's a really cool paperweight.
Right.
That's all it is. Without a firing pin, it's completely useless.
Right.
Completely useless.
Yep.
Oh man. So this is all pending, and this is going to be a whole process. Are you looking at moving out, or like this is one of the things that really got me. They wanted you to absorb the cost of the rent.
Right. They essentially said, if you don't move out, we're going to move out, and you're going to foot the entire bill for the rent, which didn't really make much sense to me because, well, and maybe we just grew up differently, but if I sign a contract, I hold myself accountable, and
sure.
I would hope that other adults would as well. But
right?
That seems not to be the case. So, yeah, they wanted me to take care of their rent.
What if you said, okay, cool, that's great. You put an ad in the paper. You're like, look, I'm looking for 5 or 6 roommates, all pro-gun. We all want to move in here.
Well, then I'd never get anybody in there. Not in Cambridge.
It would be the safest apartment in the whole city.
Completely. But it's funny because actually I did have a couple people reach out and say,
yeah.
Hey, I'm moving to Somerville, or I'm moving to Cambridge, and I'm a member of the NRA. Would you like to room together? So
that's cool.
Yeah. It's been
cool.
Funny.
I don't know how many pro-gun people that you've hang out with and associate with, but I've gotten more into it over the last few years with riding shotgun and the GunGrams and everything. And everyone that I've met that's a gun person is literally the nicest people ever. Shotgun with Charlie. Right? This is what happens. These things happen. So, gun folks are nice folks. Gun folks are nice folks. That's what it comes down to.
That's what it comes. Well, I think that there's just this huge misconception that people that own guns don't really care about gun violence and any of that stuff. But the fact of the matter is, if you own guns legally, then that shows that you do care about the law, and
right, you're going to go through taking a course and background checks, and you're going to go through all of this stuff in order to be on the up and up, and you're going to keep everything locked and secured. And it sounds like you kept everything locked and secured. It sounds like they were really trying to break into your gun case, which is not good. But the good thing is they weren't able to have access to it, which shows you that you're completely obeying what the laws are. Completely. Yeah, gun folks are great folks. So yeah, so
it's all about educating those who just aren't around guns, because I think that, the movies make guns out to be bad, the media makes guns out to be bad, when in reality, I feel so much more safe. I know I have so many friends that feel so much more safe around guns, and we actually had something in Alabama just happen. In Birmingham, there was a gunman in a McDonald's, and a dad was in there with his son, and he stopped everything right away. So just goes to prove that the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy
with a gun. You got it. And the interesting thing is the police, with the news that came out about Parkland recently, that the police do not have the duty to protect anybody. If that doesn't let you know that you should take your own security a little more serious, then nothing will. Nothing will. I know in the police cars they always put to serve and protect, but it's really to clean up and write a report. It's really all it is, and it's nothing against police officers.
Yeah.
It's nothing. I mean, it's nothing against police officers. There's police officers that are pro-gun and police officers that are anti-gun. But I think the average is about 14 minutes for the police to get to something. I know you're a young woman, but that's like listening to Stairway to Heaven twice. That's how long it is. Song. Okay.
But no, yeah, it's I think everybody should. I'm just a very independent person, so I wanted to take matters into my own hands.
Sure.
Especially after going through kind of a scary situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, that's one of the things that I think towards me, I couldn't just stop them with my hands or some pepper spray. So
Right. Having a defensive firearm is certainly the great equalizer.
right.
Absolutely. All right. So when we find out more about this, we will certainly, I'll certainly share more with all of my people and all my social media outlets, which would be cool. We spent the day down here in Hyannis at Cape Gun Works, and you get to shoot some of the cool guns that they have.
I got to shoot so many fun guns. Got to shoot a machine gun.
Yes.
What was that one that it's the Secret Service uses?
The MP5.
No, not that one.
Oh, the P90.
Yes.
The P90. That one
was
is a
my
cool
favorite.
gun. All right.
Yeah.
Is this where we came from? I know this is really bad, and I know my friends think that I always intentionally want to get people lost, but I don't.
No, I can never find my way around this part.
That's all right. I've spent some time down here, but anyway, who cares? The MP5 and the P90.
Yes.
Those are
Those
way
are my
cool to shoot.
favorites.
Way
And then I
cool
got to
shoot.
practice a little bit with a 38 special. That's what I carry. So
Nice.
let's get some practice.
Give me 5, girl. I am a I carry a J frame. All right, we'll turn it here. I know where we're at now. I carry a J frame, and that's my carry gun, a little 5-shot revolver. I'm gonna put a plug-in. I'm gonna invite you. I'm gonna friend request you on the Facebook.
All right.
There's a group called I'm With ROSCOE, which is it's for revolver folk.
Oh, perfect.
So we need to get you involved in that. They have a lot of really cool stuff. The guy that started this is another guy that I interviewed. But I got a target, and I shot I have a Glock 19 that I shot. I have a Smith & Wesson Model 19, and I shot 38 special ammo out of there today. And it's a big, heavy gun. And I got to tell you, I shot the what they have, the SIG 325. That was one of the other small guns that they had there today. The one that I shot best with was my big 38 revolver. Like, I put a picture up of all my targets, and the one I did the best with were the 38.
Love
So
a revolver.
I completely love shooting my revolver. I like it because it's got a long, heavy trigger squeeze, and to me, it's like learning how to drive a stick shift. Like, if you can drive a stick shift, you can drive an automatic.
There you go.
So,
There you go. No,
Awesome.
I love my revolver.
what kind, if I may ask?
It's a 38 Special Smith & Wesson. Yeah, I have like 3 or 4 of them, honestly.
Nice.
Of just those revolvers. So,
Yeah.
But yeah.
Good for you. I'm totally impressed that you're carrying a J frame. That's awesome. That's awesome. I have one of the guns that I use for teaching classes is a hammerless 357, and I put some zombie green glow-in-the-dark stocks on it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I like taking that out in class. And I used to, I know it sounds totally sexist, so forgive me, but I have some pink grips that I put on my J-frame, and then I ended up with some purple grips. And I leave the purple grips on my carry gun. So I think it looks cool. I don't care.
See, I can't do the pink.
No?
All the colors.
Oh.
I'm just a plain gal. Just a plain Jane.
Well, it still works the same.
No, that's true. But it's just like, maybe I watch too many movies, but I just never picture someone in like a leather jacket and cool glasses having like a pink grip,
pink gun. That's pretty funny. I did something a couple weekends ago with all of this nonsense with Baby It's Cold Outside.
Oh, goodness.
I did a GunGram video where I played the trumpet and shot a gun of Baby It's Cold Outside, and I used my Glock 19, and one of my friends let me use her Ruger LC9S in Tiffany blue, and I did that for the girl part of the song.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I'm a little ridiculous that way. Awesome. All right, well, listen, we are almost back at Cape Gun Works, and we're going to drop Leila off, and she's going to go back to continuing on with the rest of her day and all the fun stuff that we have here. So please check out Cape Gun Works. I'm going to put a link to them down below in the description, and I'm going to put a link to the Self-Defense Radio Network, sdrn.us. It's where all your favorite all your pro freedom podcasts are in one place, and I want to thank you for coming riding shotgun. It's
thank you.
I know how intimidating it can be for a small, petite, beautiful young woman to get in the car with a complete stranger that looks like me. I get that. And it is what it is.
No, thanks for having me on. This is fun.
Hey, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, and we will talk to you guys soon.